There it is. Mic's working now. I was working just a second ago. All of a sudden, it wasn't working. But anyway, we are here for another awesome podcast Tuesday, talking some motorsports, talking some racing. We had some fantastic races this weekend. We had Formula One at Suzuka, one of the best tracks on planet of Earth, for the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix. We'll talk about that race with you guys, break it down for you guys, as well as IndyCar back again at Barber. Moved it up in the schedule. We talked about this last week on the podcast. I think moving it to where it is now on the schedule in the month of March, and then you go into your crown jewel event in April with Long Beach, and then you finally have all of month of May dedicated purely to Indianapolis with the Grand Prix and the Indy 500, and all of the testing and practice sessions and everything that's involved with the Indy 500. Having its own month and specific day is awesome. And I like where Barber lays on the schedule. I like how the season starts off with IndyCar, where we're just bang, 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 race to kick off the season, get everybody hyped. And then we roll into the crown jewel events through April and May. So we'll talk about that race at Barber this weekend, as well as the NASCAR series racing over at Martinsville, the No-App series, as well as the Cup series for the Cookout 400. We'll talk about those races with you guys, some of the dramatic turns and everything that happened this weekend in motorsports. Also, I have a little bit of news to talk about. We'll get to that here to start this podcast here in a little bit. We also have Boneheads of the Week, Driver of the Week, as always, a Heartbreak of the Week nominee. We'll go over some point standings. I think it's a good time to look at some of the standings, as we have F1, IndyCar, and NASCAR are all off this weekend for Easter weekend. So we're going to go through the point standings, maybe look at the top 5 to 10. Who are contenders, who are pretenders, as we continue to progress through the beginning portions of these racing seasons. And then we do have some racing this weekend. Don't forget about it. We do have a little bit of racing. We'll do a watch party this weekend on Saturday for the NASCAR O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series at Rockingham. The Truck Series are on Friday night. We'll not be doing a watch party for that, but we will be doing one for the No Apps race on Saturday. We'll talk about the notable entries. I'll give you my picks, my dark horses. And no fantasy this week. No NASCAR, no F1 fantasy at all this weekend. So this is going to be a fun podcast, probably a little shorter one. Tom is currently MIA as he had some other plans here tonight. But no problem. We're going to rock and roll and have a good time here on this fantastic Tuesday and talk about some racing. First off, we've talked about it in length over the last couple weeks with the Daniel Dye situation with Ram Trucks. I even tweeted at old colleague and Ram Trucks and Matt Colleague and Chris Rice and the whole gang over there. I tweeted at all of them to hire Brett Moffitt to drive that 10 truck, because I knew that the relationship there with Daniel Dye was an unrocky situation. He lost his ride. Well, he got suspended by NASCAR. He gets reinstated by NASCAR as of earlier today, but then he signs his resignation from Ram and Colleague. Bad look for the brand. The guy is a clown anyway. Shouldn't even have been in that ride to begin with. But we tweeted, and we'll get Brett Moffitt in there. It didn't happen. The LaJoy Dozer will be taking over that 10 truck racing duties for the remainder of the season. Again, you could have had Brett Moffitt. I mean, there's probably another list of drivers I'm not even thinking about right now that could have done a way better job in that truck. But here we go. We're going to throw LaJoy Dozer in there one more time. We're trying to revitalize that penny stacking career of his. I just think it's a bad look. I think it's a terrible hire. If you want to build something, I mean, you could pick a guy that actually can win a fucking race. I mean, what, LaJoy hasn't won a damn race since he ran in like the freaking ARCA East series, dude. Like, what are we doing, colleague? What are we doing, Ram? I don't get it. You got Brennan Queen, great freaking hire. Justin Haley, I'd put the mid-tier higher. It's not terrible. It's not bad. I'm pretty indifferent on that one. then you bring in Daniel Dye, who's kind of a clown, who's not won anything either. And then you bring in LaJoy to replace him. He hasn't won anything. He can't do anything. And then you got guys like Brett Moffitt, who's just sitting there, former champion, a half a dozen race wins, can't find a ride. Can't find a ride. It's just ridiculous. And then you hire Midget, this Midget guy. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? So, LaJoy Dozer. Yep. He'll be behind the wheel of that 10 truck for the remainder of the 2026 racing season for Ram and colleague. All right, so let's get into some of these races. I do want to jump into the Indy NXT stuff first because this was an interesting weekend. I was working on Saturday. I did have the NXT race up while I was working. I was kind of watching it when I was not driving or anything, or when I was out of the car, and I was listening to it for the most part. But Alessandro Di Tullio, driving for Foyt, obviously, had a great weekend this weekend. He was running up front for the majority of that Indy NXT race, 35-lap race. I think he led all of it up until the very end, and Max Taylor was kind of hounding him the whole race. Max Taylor ends up making a little bit of a dive bomb in an area uphill. That right-hander, not a good spot to make a pass, but he had a run. He sticks his nose in there, makes contact, takes them both out of contention, and Nikita Johnson, the winner at not Sebring, at St. Petersburg, ends up taking the win in race number 1. Heartbreaking moment there for Alessandro Di Tullio. Excuse me, goodness gracious, I need some water, man. It's dry. It is raining today. That's kind of putting a hamper on things. But after that event happened, I was like, man, that's going to be an easy nominee for Heartbreak of the Week. Alessandro Di Tullio. He ran a fantastic race. Maybe lost a little pace at the end. They did go through a little bit of lap traffic. Max Taylor, I've been high on Max Taylor for the last couple of years now, watching through the USF 2000 ranks. Been talking about him quite a bit on this channel. He was my championship pick at this point of the season. We'll see how that kind of plays out as we progress here. But ends up wiping out Alessandro Di Tullio. I would have nominated I did end up nominate Max Taylor for a Bonehead of the Week for that contact. I think he deserves it. I think that was a little bit too aggressive of a move, especially with as many laps as we had left, how much faster he was than Di Tullio there at the end. And I guess maybe that leans into the inexperience or the young driver status, right? We see that lots with these younger drivers, or they do these where they feel like they got to get it all in one corner. They got to do it all right now. They got to be superhero, Superman. Wasn't necessarily the time or place for that. I still have high expectations, and I'm still high on Max Taylor. I'm starting to get high on this. We saw, what was it, Timex last week or two? Yeah, was it last week at Arlington? Had a great run. I'm pretty high on him now. I think he's got a lot of talent. Didn't really show this weekend. But this Alessandro Di Tullio, man, what an absolute drive he had this weekend. He redeemed himself in race number 2. And that's what kept him off the Heartbreak of the Week nominee for me this week, is because he did capture race number 2 on Sunday, the shorter race there, the finale of the weekend, race number 2, and absolutely did in dominating fashion. I think maybe a chip on his shoulder. You see that sometimes, or you had it slipped away. He went back to the drawing board through his nose to end up perfecting the strategy at the end, or getting the car set up perfectly for him again, like it was on Saturday. And he ends up getting the dub on Sunday. So that was an awesome weekend for him. I'm high on Alessandro Di Tullio. Bringing a Foyt car for one to prominence in the Indiana NXT series is very surprising. I did not expect the Foyt guys to be running up at the front of the field in any races this year. So that was kind of a shocker. I thought it was going to be the Lockie Hughes, Max Taylor, Nikita Johnson type-esque championship battle. Miles Rowe has been non-existent. I would have put him as a championship favorite coming into the season. James Rowe's been around for a while. I would have put him also in that list. But you're starting to see Timex. Obviously, it's Arlington. Fittipaldi at Arlington. And then here with Di Tullio. This Indy NXT season's getting wild, guys. If you guys aren't watching it, you guys need to start tuning in. It's some fantastic racing. And this championship is wide open. Wide open. So congratulations to Di Tullio for getting the win. And then also, obviously, to Nikita Johnson surviving the carnage. He was running third all day, and he ended up capitalizing when it mattered most and took race 1. So good stuff out of the NXT this weekend. Let's talk about the no-ops race. This, again, was another race that I was watching periodically while I was working on Saturday. I guess my biggest thing with this race, guys, I talked about on the watch parties this weekend. we used to do those iRacing broadcasts, and we used to run at Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. And it seemed like every time we would broadcast one of those short track races, it would turn into an absolute wreckfest. And we'd have 10 to 20 cautions during the event. They were really hard to broadcast. You never had a flow or a state to the race. You had pit stops all the time because the guy wouldn't pit this stop, but then there'd be a wreck 3 laps later, and then he'd decide to pit, and they shuffled the order up, and you're just inventing things to talk about. It felt like that with this no apps race. The O'Reilly's auto race. I mean, it was absolutely painful to listen to, painful to watch. They went under red flag for a long period of the race. I could break down every wreck and every incident, but the best way I can describe it is how I just did with the whole iRacing thing. I don't understand why when we go to the short tracks and the trucks, the O'Reillys, ARCA, whatever it is, why these races have to turn into demolition derbies. It makes the product unbearable and unwatchable. I would say 95% of the season, the O'Reilly's Auto Parts is the best series on TV that weekend. Like, it's so good. It's so entertaining. The way the cars are built, they don't have all they're old school. They're big and heavy stock cars. They got the composite bodies. You can kind of bounce off the walls, bounce off each other, and you don't really get a lot of damage. You don't cut tires down. The cars have a lot of drag. They got a good amount of power for the weight ratio that the cars have. They slip and slide. They're on them tiny little tires. They got a different tire compound than what they use the Cup Series. The driver talent level isn't to the Cup Series, so you see a lot more mistakes. You see good drives, bad drives, depending on how things go throughout the race. You got a disparity in equipment. Fantastic racing, like most of the time. The only exceptions to that rule are Atlanta, obviously. I wouldn't say Daytona and Talladega. Daytona and Talladega, the O'Reilly series puts on the best races there every time they go. And then the other downside is the short tracks, specifically at Martinsville. It feels like these guys drive every lap like it's the last lap. There's no patience and no give and no take. And it just turns into this unbearable, unwatchable product. And then you got a guy. I'm going to bag on this guy a little bit. I'm going to nominate him for a bonehead of the week. Lee Pulliam. Del Jesus went on this big rant about this guy on a podcast a couple weeks ago and hyped this whole thing up and going through all of his accolades or whatever he's done in super late models, late model stocks, pro late models, whatever it is, Cars Tour stuff, whatever it is. I know who the guy is. I've seen him before this whole thing came about. But it feels like Josh Berry 2.0, but maybe worse. I mean, this guy has great equipment. He's leading portions of this race. It looked towards the end like he had a chance to win. A great car. I mean, a fantastic car. Those junior motorsports cars were the class of the field all day long. There was moments with Taylor Gray, moments with Jesse Love, moments maybe a little bit with Sam Mayer out of the Haas factory team. But it really looked like a JRM car was going to win this race, and they all kind of cycled to the front at the end. But they had 4 restarts at the end there. He messes up the first one. Luckily, a caution comes out, saves his race, so he gets to restart again on the front row. Then he gets a good restart his second time around. So it's like, okay, he learned from his mistake, he figured it out. Then he spins the tires on the third restart, loses positions. Then he has to take the outside on the choose cone for the fourth restart, misses a shift, and causes another big stack up. And he got away with it with a little bit of rear end damage, but he totaled half the field in the accumulation of all these restarts at the end of the race. Managed to get a top 5, but there was nothing about his racecraft wise. I could see it there. There was a little bit of there was a good amount of racecraft. Like, I'll give him that. But the execution thing is where he failed. Being able to handle restarts, being able to go through the shifts, late race execution, being able to put himself in the right position or be able to get decent launches of 4 or 5 laps into a run on the outside. Like, he just had none of that. None of that stuff he had. If we got like 10, 15, 20 laps into a run, he looked like one of the best guys on track, and his car was really good. But anything 5 to 10 laps into a run, he looked like a clown. Looked like an idiot. Looked like he had no fucking idea what the hell he was doing. Looked like he had never been behind the wheel of a stock car. He looked like one of those 17-year-old kids or 16-year-old kids that gets their first a truck series race or their first ARCA race, and they just make themselves look like a fool. And that's what he did this weekend. Totaled a lot of race cars in the process doing that. If the race would have went long run, I think Allgaier might have had a better long run car. So if we would have had all those restarts and everything at the end, all the changing of track position and all the damaged race cars and everything that went on with all that shit show, I think Allgaier maybe wins this race with the long run pace. But if this guy gets another shot at it, he's got to clean a lot of stuff up, man. He's got to learn how to do these restarts and how to the late race execution, I guess, is what it is. Because the racecraft's there on a long run. It's there. I mean, he's good at making passes, good at maintaining track position. It's anywhere from the restart to like 10 laps into a run. He just has no idea how to race around these cars with this type of equipment that he's in. The competition he's against. It seems like he was a goldfish just lost in the ocean. Looked like Finding Nemo, but he couldn't find him. It was a joke, man. It was a joke. So I did want to talk about that with you guys. Broadcast was decent. I feel bad for the guys in the booth with having to cover all those cautions. I know how difficult that is. McMurray, Parker Kligerman, Justin Alexander, Adam Alexander, excuse me. They are top notch, A-class broadcasters. They made it. They made the best of the situation they were dealt with there. So good on them. Let's talk about F1 first, and we'll do IndyCar and Cup next, and then we'll do kind of point standings as we go, because I do want to touch on how the F1 standings are going as of now. But the initial start, we had obviously the Mercedes on the front row. They're the dominant car of the F1 season so far, especially with the new rules and regulations. They've been controlling these races. They've got the one weakness, and we've talked about that on this podcast, is their restarts. They are just not to snuff with the Ferraris or the McLarens who are running. Well, even the McLarens this weekend, running the same powertrain essentially as the Mercedes, they were able to execute restarts way better than the Mercedes. I don't know. Mercedes got to figure something out with these restarts, but the initial start drops. Piastri takes off. He gets by both Mercedes. He's set sail into the moonset, as old DW would have said. Gone into turn one. And I was like, oh, he's a sitting duck. He'll lead a few laps here, but once the Mercedes get into their race pace and they continue on, once they get their tires up to temperature and they get into race pace, they're gonna take advantage of it, you know. And when load drops off and everything, that's when the Ferrari or the Mercedes seem to execute the best. They've got better grip, they've got better straight line speed, they're better at energy management or energy harvesting, however you want to label that. So it really felt like it was going to be Mercedes are going to fight back. George Russell did. I mean, challenge, I think on lap like 7 or 8, I believe it was, when George Russell made the pass on Piastri, used all his energy to do so, but he did it too soon in as part of the track that I was like, uh-oh. I think he made that move too soon because Piastri fought right back and took the lead right back from him. And then we go through the green flag cycles, right? So we see McLaren, they undercut George Russell. He ends up leaping George Russell. And the lap after George Russell pits, he gets a preferred strategy because he's the guy ahead in the race compared to Antonelli. So they leave Antonelli out an extra lap. They're going to bring him in the next lap. So they're going to do the overcut with Antonelli, undercut for Russell to basically cover off the Mercedes and the second McLaren of Norris and even his teammates. So that was what the point of the undercut was there. And then they were going to try to overcut with Antonelli, see if he could cover off the McLaren and maybe cover off one or maybe both of the Ferraris, especially with the double stack. He would have been able to at least cover off one. So I like the strategy that Mercedes employed there. The only thing they didn't take account for is Franco Colapinto harvesting in one of the faster sections of the track. And Oliver Behrman, I say it all the time, guys. I say it all the time. I'm a big fan of Oliver Behrman. I think he has a shit ton of talent. I can see it every time I watch him race. I can see the talent, the potential that is there. But some weekends, man, he jumps into that car and he just channels his inner Pastor Maldonado. And then other weekends, he jumps in, straps in, and he harnesses his inner Michael Schumacher. This guy is the most hot and cold, up and down, forward and reverse driver I have seen in a long time in motorsports, guys. Like, his highs are high. I mean, the potential. It looks like the next greatest thing on planet Earth. And then the next moment you turn around the next week and he can't get out of his own way. And he did it again. I mean, I understand Franco Colapinto in one of the faster points, harvesting energy. again, another issue with this rules package that we have in F1, the regulations we have with the harvesting. I know a lot of F1 fans hate it. I understand you. I'm with you on a lot of the points you make. But the racing hasn't been bad. If the regulations were like this and the racing was bad, I'd be 100% with you. But the racing isn't bad. So it's the situation that Franco Colapinto is in, right? He has to harvest energy. It's unfortunate that maybe he didn't plan it out well enough where he ends up having to do it in the faster part of the track. Oliver Bearman makes the move to the outside to make the move on him, misjudges it, goes off the track, carried way too much speed, and bulldozes right into the inside barrier, bringing out the safety car, which ultimately put George Russell and his strategy in the absolute dumpster. They binned the strategy. It was done. There was no recovering from it because that allowed Antonelli and the Ferraris to pit under the safety car scenario and ultimately being able to leap George Russell. Piastri was P2 there, even with the cycle, because he was able to cover off George Russell. So it laid right into the hands of Antonelli, and Antonelli would go on to win, getting his second consecutive Grand Prix victory. George Russell would come home, I believe, fourth, and changes the world championship picture. We'll talk about the points right now. Let me pull those up because I just pulled them up before we started this podcast. Yes, so Kimi Antonelli, 72 points. George Russell at 63 points. Charles Leclerc is sitting in third with 49. Lewis Hamilton, 41 in fourth. Lando Norris in fifth with 25. 21 for Oscar Piastri as he finally is able to complete a race. Dear Lord. Oliver Bearman with 17 points in seventh. A bad showing for him. Pierre Gasly, eighth in points as he's got 15. Max Verstappen, ninth with 12 points. Just struggling to get points on the board here. And then Liam Lawson there in 10th. Great run for Gasly. Gasly, I think he nominated for Driver of the Week, P7. Great job. Alpine has come out of the gate strong this year, guys. We said it felt like maybe Haas had the third best car. I think maybe the gap there between them and McLaren maybe is a little more than what I kind of expected or projected last week. I think you're right. I think McLaren probably does have the third best car. I put Haas and Alpine right there in front of Red Bull at this point. This is another point scoring opportunity for Gasly. He keeps scoring points. Bearman's been doing good scoring points, had his lapse of judgment this weekend. But it's interesting to see how this new regulation came into play. I thought Audi would have hit the ground running. And I've been kind of surprised that Audi really hasn't performed. I thought with Hulkenberg being the experienced guy there, Bortoleto with a year of experience under his belt, Audi and their storied history in Formula One would be good. But right now, Gabriele Bortoleto is the only guy to score points with 2 points so far. Hulkenberg was 0. I mean, we got to, I guess, get further into the season, see how some of this stuff progresses, but I'm kind of surprised what that Haas and Alpine was dog shit last year. If you guys remember, they were terrible. And this year they're actually head above water. And we're still so early in these regulations. Do they be able to develop? I mean, Alpine is probably one of the worst and dysfunctional run teams other than McLaren, but that's for a different reason. But for them to be able to, even with how dysfunctional that program is and the ownership and the investors in that team that are basically dumping, or what do they call it, pump and dump, type fucking attitude with the sponsorships there and the investment. I'm surprised at how fast they've been this year. And then obviously with Haas, this is the best we've seen Haas really in their entire F1 history. I mean, I think they've got the right driver with Bearman. He had a bad weekend this weekend. I don't know if that'll continue. Again, next round he'll probably show up and look like Michael Schumacher again. So I don't know. It's a lot of interesting stuff there. But right now, Kimi Antonelli leads the world championship. He is the youngest world championship leader in Formula One history. Again, there's not much more I can say about Kimi Antonelli. Tom believed in this guy well before I could kind of see it. I could see the talent. I just didn't know if I was a believer yet. Still on the fence with that one. But I'm sold. Kimi Antonelli is the shit, man. I can't not vote or root for him. I mean, just the way that how emotional he got celebrating his first career victory was awesome. Like, you don't see that kind of raw emotion, especially out of somebody that talented. Like, that has been fed all this, like, you're great, you're great, you're the best, you're the man, and be able to have that kind of a humble and reaction with the media is pretty awesome to see. So, we have like a month off for F1. Obviously, we got the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the Bahrain Grand Prix, both get canceled with world conflicts or whatever's going on. I try to stay out of all that politics and all that bullshit, but so we're gonna be a while before we get back to F1 at Miami, somewhere in April, May. So, a long break here, but we're gonna give a chance to see Kimi Antonelli hold the World Championship standings for a while. It's going to be tough, though. He's going to have to beat George Russell. And George Russell wins this race going away if that safety car doesn't happen. Just bad luck. But to win world championships, you got to have luck. You got to have skill. You got to have speed. You got to have the right team underneath you. And a lot of that stuff right now is playing into the favor of Kimi Antonelli, and he's doing a fantastic job. All right, let's talk about IndyCar. A lot of people on the internet have been saying this was a bad race. I understand Barber has not been the most entertaining and thrilling and fantastic race in recent memory. We talked about it last week with Tom on the podcast. We talked about his dislike with Barber, and a lot of those I agree with. Some things I disagree with, but overall basis, Barber's not the most entertaining track. I don't think you could say that about this race. This race was very, very entertaining. Obviously, Palou jumps off, massive lead, doing Palou-esque things. The biggest storyline for this race to me, we talked about on the podcast last week. We said the primary tires are going to be the blacks. Like, that's what we talked about. We talked about it, the reds, just like last year. We said reds are going to be the preferred tire. It's going to be exactly like it was last year. I even talked about, well, moving it up in the schedule. Maybe it's not as warm, or maybe it's warmer, or not as warm as it is in like April. Maybe that'll have something different to do with it. And Tom was convinced, no, I think it's still going to be a red race. And I agreed with him for the most part. I was leaning to his perspective. And that's not what we saw at all. We saw, what was it? Malukas and Malukas and Kirkwood both started on the soft tires. And we saw Rahal and Palou start on the hard tires. And I was like, okay, this could be interesting because they're probably going to be pretty even off the start. And then eventually the red tires are going to be the preferred tire. And eventually we'll see maybe a little bit of a contester for the lead between Malukas and Palou. I don't know what Rahal's got. He's on the same strategy as Palou. Maybe he'll fade through the field. We'll see Kirkwood move up through the field. And it was probably about 10, 15 laps into the run. And we saw the speed of those red tires Malukas had and Kirkwood have start to fade. And then we saw Lundgaard moving through the field. Lundgaard moving through the field on the same strategy as Palou. And I'm like, okay. And then the teams are reporting back like, yeah, this is not a red tire race. This is a black tire race, guys. So everybody started just panicking and changing strategies. Palou in this race started on the blacks, and then he switched to the reds and tried to stretch that one out as long as he could because they were planning on double red sets to the end of the race. So when they found out that that wasn't going to be the strategy that was going to win them the race, they had to go to the reds, and they tried to make those reds last as long as possible because the only set of black tires they had left, or the primary tires, were a 10-lap practice set that he had abused on practice day. And so they were put in a box. Like, their strategy was not looking like it was going to work out. And Lundgaard was flying, guys. Lundgaard was on an absolute heater. They said it during the broadcast, and I 100% agree with it. It looked like Kirkwood at Arlington is what Lundgaard looked like at Barber. He was just absolutely carving into that lead of Palou. At certain points, it would maybe extend back to 8-9 seconds. At other points, it got down to like 3, 4, 5 seconds. And it really looked like Lundgaard was managing his race. They were managing the strategy. They had a fresh black set of tires sitting in the pits, waiting for him to the end. They masterminded the strategy. They took advantage of it. Come to the final stint. Palou shortcuts. It was a good stop, but like I said, they're at a disadvantage because they got the 10-lap older hard tires. They put the hard tires on. They leave pit road. He gets mixed up in a little bit of lap traffic, and the interval there was about 28 seconds. Was an optimum pit stop duration, right? From pit entry to your stop to pit exit, about 28 seconds. Well, Palou's sitting there at about 27.9, 27.8. Like right there on the cusp where it almost looks like Lundgaard maybe could leap him with the overcut strategy. And that would be detrimental to Palou because I don't think there's no way he could get back by him with the detriment in the tires or the disparity in tires. And the final stop of the day. We've got to come up with a segment for this. We have George the Traveling Gas Man. We need to have something to do with the pit crews. I mean, this has been a pitiful year for pit stops. I'm telling you. We saw it with Ferrari, which Ferrari always does Ferrari things, having their bad pit stops to start the year in Australia, their bad pit strategy. We saw Andretti at Arlington have their issues. We see Blaney on the NASCAR side having his issues. Lundgaard this weekend, they have the freaking issues. They have a chance to win this race. Money stop, preferred tires. They've got the interval down to a spot where they might be able to overcut. If not, they're going to be right there with Palou with a tire advantage to be able to take advantage of him. And that would have put Palou on the backside of the strategy, and even had lots of push pass remaining. And the rear tire changer absolutely drops it on his own. He steps over his own appendage and ruins the strategy for Lundgaard. Puts him back to third. Even Rahal was able to leap him through that strategy. Lundgaard did get back up to second, but handed the race right over to Palou. Palou is him, guys. Palou is him. He is an absolute masterclass at this strategy. I mean, the way he can control a race, I talk about all the time with Felipe Nasr over with Porsche in the IMSA series stuff. I think Felipe Nasr is the greatest closer in modern motorsports. I don't think there's another driver that compares to him right now. I don't think there's another driver that's as good at managing a race as Alex Palou. Like, he is so masterclass, like so ahead of his peers to a point where he can calculate. Like I watched his post-race interview and he broke that race down like stint for stint, lap for lap, I'm sitting there just in awe. Like, how does he remember all of this stuff? And like, how is he orchestrating it behind the wheel while he has a great strategy team? Is even his engineer and him are bantering back and forth during this. I'm just in awe of what Palou can do behind the wheel of a race car and how he can manage a race. He is incredible. Absolutely. I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, but it's just, it's more than just racecraft. It's more than just understanding strategy, understanding how to get pace out of a race car. There's just so much more to it. So many intricacies to his racing abilities that just, you can't stop but sit back and just be mesmerized and enjoy the level of a skill and ability that he has. It's just mind-boggling to me. It's unreal. He's unmatched. And I know we'll talk about points here in a second. We will get to that. But it's going to be really hard to see somebody actually be able to beat Palou in the duration of this IndyCar season. Because Palou has no weaknesses. We talk about he doesn't make mistakes. He made that one mistake last year at Mid-Ohio and lost that race to Scott Dixon. But other than that, he doesn't make mistakes. It maybe made a little bit of mistake at Phoenix. I think you can go 50-50 on that with him and VK. Maybe put a little bit more, maybe 60-40, put the blame on Palou there. But he just doesn't have really any weaknesses. He's got the oval game down now. He's dominant on the road courses. He's unmatched. I think Ganassi lacks a little bit on the street courses. That's where Kirkwood's going to be able to take advantage of him throughout the rest of the year. But a lot of schedules front-loaded with street courses. And Palou, and we'll talk about the points here in a second. It's not that much of a gap. I'm just mesmerized with what Alex Palou could do behind the wheel. We got Lag in the chat. What's up, man? Thanks for joining, dude. I'm just talking some racing here on Tuesday. Good to see you in the chat, man. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you're enjoying the content. Again, let's get back to the point that I was making up before I got into that whole Alex Palou rant. What a fantastic race in general. We saw Lundgaard be able to make his moves early. We saw the strategy change because we thought it was going to be a red tire race turn into a black tire race. We saw Dennis Hauger, Stingray Robb have battles in the back of the field. Rinus VeeKay spun out at one time and he came back up to a 14th place finish. Great job by him. We saw Newgarden look like he was quick and McLaughlin, then they kind of leveled out around that P8 to 12 range for the rest of the day. Will Power, I kind of thought would maybe move his way through the field, and they didn't really look like that. I saw lots of great battles in the hairpin. That was where we saw a lot of passes. I think Lundgaard made a an up and under move on Ericsson there at one point during the race, which was an absolute freaking beautiful pass. I mean, rock hard, solid, give me a chubby type situation there. Woo! That was hot, dude. That was badass. Goes out to the outside, cuts it back underneath. It judged it perfectly, got on the brakes, backed his corner up just enough, had enough turn in, drive to be able to get the forward drive off the corner. Oh, that was just beautiful racing, man. That is just symphony of just fucking awesomeness, dude. Fucking, God, I've rewatched that so many times. That was a beautiful pass, but I thought the race was good, man. I don't get really what the IndyCar. I guess, yeah, we didn't get the battle for the win that we probably should have had. I mean, yeah, I am a little lost in desire because of that situation, because I did want to see how that was going to play out with the different tire strategies and Lundgaard having the pace at the end, and see kind of how that finish would have played out. I don't know if Lundgaard would have beat him. I don't know if Palou would have beat him. I don't know. We'll never know. But I would have liked to see that. So I guess I can understand that point. Like, we kind of got robbed out of what would have been an awesome. But the race overall was good. We saw lots of passing, lots of strategy. We saw teams flipping the script on their entire weekend strategy, just to be able to, like, you could just sense the urgency and the panic on some of these teams, like, minds when they realize, like, oh shit, we qualified for this strategy. We had these sets of tires set aside for this part of the race, and then it turns into oh shit, like, that's not going to work. And then you see teams putting on old tires for practice to be able to get it. It was a great race. I enjoyed it. Jared in the chat. Yo. What's up, Jared? Nice to see you, man. We're going to go over some IndyCar standings next here for you guys, since we're going to have a little bit of a break till Long Beach. That would be mid-April. Kyle Kirkwood with a 2-point lead over Palou. Lundgaard now moves up to third in the standings. He is at 121, 35 points back. Lucas is fourth in the standings. He's having a good, quiet year, doing exactly what he needed to do, have consistent runs. He's running fourth in the standings. Newgarden, fifth. Pato Ward, sixth. McLaughlin, maybe a disappointment for me and my expectations. I thought this might have been the year he could maybe challenge for the championship with Kirkwood and Palou. I did pick Kirkwood to win the championship in the offseason, but now looking at this with the 2-point gap, I know we'll go to Long Beach next. That's like Kirkwood's track. He's gonna have to have a big day there and outduel Palou. They got to find more pace on these street courses, I think, or on these natural road courses. I think that's Andretti's got to do some soul searching there to figure that out. I know their oval program's gonna get better with Will Power there in the team. We'll see how that plays out. Ericsson 8th in points, Armstrong 9th in points, Scott Dixon is 10th in points. Notables outside of the top 10. Rahal, again, I didn't talk about Rahal, but Rahal had a fantastic race. I think this was his first podium since 2002 or 2022, excuse me. And he looked rejuvenated, man. I felt good for Rahal. At the end of that race, I was pulling for him. He was having to hold off. Who was it that he was holding off? Malukas at the end to secure that podium. He absolutely drove like prime Rahal there at the end of that race. That was so fun to watch. I'll nominate him for driver of the week this week. And then Will Power there in 13th. And then Santino Ferrucci. Usually has a slow start to a season. I feel like he's having a better start. I know he's 15th in the standings, but he's only 94 points back, and we know how good he is at Indianapolis as we move into the season, and some of these ovals we'll have at the second half of the season, which we're back-end loaded with some ovals. We might see some good stuff out of Santino, maybe even a top 10 points finish this season. And then leading the rookie battle right now, Kyle Collette was the better performing rookie at Barber, but right now it's still Dennis Hauger holding the rookie battle. 17th of points. We got 20th for Kyle Collette and Mick Schumacher in 25th for your rookie of the year standings. Alrighty, let's move into the Cup Series race, and then we'll get into driver bonehead of the week right after that. Cookout 400. Danny Hamlin dominates this race. Absolutely dominates this race. Nobody had anything for him. I thought Blaney and Gibbs had decent cars. I really thought at the end of the race it was going to be a battle between Blaney and Hamlin, and it really never came to that point. Blaney was like second to fourth all day long. He was fast. He just didn't have the speed I expected. I picked him to win the race on the podcast last Tuesday. He's really good at these type of tracks. The upside is they didn't have any pit road issues this weekend, and that would have been detrimental to this race the way it played out with this many cars going laps down and the pace that Denny Hamlin had set out front. But the final stage, Chase Elliott and Alan Gustafson, they end up going on a completely alternate strategy. I thought they were going to two-stop the final stage. Pitted extremely early on the window. Basically, right when the fuel window opened, boom, they hit pit road. Looked like that's what they were going to do, strategy-wise. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to play out because we did see tire fall off. I will give NASCAR credit here. They didn't talk about it, and we had it. That made me a lot happier because I fucking hate when Mr. Stuff and Things and fucking Mike Biden Joy are over there jerking each other off, talking about fucking tire wear while Boyer's over here thinking about cutting himself in the booth. I mean, we didn't have any of that shit this week, so thank God for that. But we did have tire wear. Lots of tire wear. And you could see the pace was falling off. So I was like, okay, well, this is a good strategy for Elliott. And then, I don't know, man. Maybe throw the conspiracy hat on here a little bit. We call a caution, dude. We call a caution right as Hamlin passes Elliott for a brake rotor sitting on pit lane, and there's video footage of this damn brake rotor sitting on pit lane for like 20 laps before the caution comes out. The only way to save Chase Elliott's fucking race was for a caution to come out because it was long enough into the stint. He had the track position and an opportunity to pit and be able to be on the same strategy as Hamlin and have the same tire advantage as Hamlin. I don't know if I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think NASCAR is playing some fucking bullshit there to help Chase Elliott maybe potentially win this race. I think it's a fact. We got TP in the chat, dumps truck mastery. Oh, Ryan Blaney. We'll talk about that here in a second. You're gonna see me flip out and rage here in about 10 fucking seconds. So when I get to this next talking point, but it puts Elliott on the advantage there. Hamlin has a bad restart. Elliott takes the lead back. The caution plays out again perfectly as Hostin Carsfar and old Bubba Wallace have their little spat. I think even what the hell's his name? Fucking irrelevant, Mr. Dumbass. The spotter for Bubba Wallace goes over and says, well, Hostin didn't really touch us. Bubba kind of lost his cool there and had a little bit of an incident. What's the number one rule in motorsports, guys? What's the number one rule in stock car racing? You don't wreck someone without you wreck somebody, but you can't wreck yourself doing it. And that's what Bubba did, wrecked his race, which sucks, man, because he's had a great year. And I've been pulling for him, and he's been doing really good. And then he has this is what happens to Bubba a lot. He has these moments multiple times a season where he loses his mind, loses cool, and he does something stupid like this. And in this situation, ends up hurting himself in the points. We'll talk about the points here in a minute. But that was detrimental. If you're going to win the championship in this format that we currently have, where points fucking matter, and you've got to be in that top 6 in points by the end of the regular season if you're going to have a chance at the championship, you can't be doing shit like this when you're running 3rd in points entering the weekend. We'll talk about that here in a second. All right, time to have a fucking crash out. Got to have my crash out. Fuck Denny Hamlin. Fuck Denny Hamlin. Fuck his goofy smile. Fuck whoever the fuck sponsors him. Fuck them all, dude. Fuck the Yoders. Fuck them all. Fuck them all, dude. Fuck Denny Hamlin. Fuck that guy, dude. I can't stand this piece of shit, dude. It's the end of the race. He fucked up the first restart. Hands the lead over to Elliott. Gets another restart. Doesn't do very good on that one either. Ryan Blaney finally with an opportunity to maybe have a chance to go chase for a win. He's side by side with Hamlin. And this has been my pet peeve with Hamlin from the beginning of time. This guy is a hack. He's a garbage race car driver. He doesn't want to race you. He'll get out and be like, it's your turn racing it. I'd like to race people, you know. You don't fucking race anybody, Dickie. You don't. You never race people. Hey, Blaney's over here racing his heart and racing his fucking guts out with a car not as good as yours. Up on the outside, battling his absolute brains out, dude. Having an absolute Chad drive. Hanging it on the outside, the unpreferred lane at Martinsville, battling you door to door, giving you plenty of room, not chopping you down, not making your corner harder by giving you less of a radius to turn. And what do? Oh, you lose your fucking cool again because you're getting raced hard and you don't like to be raced hard. You like everything to be handed to you like a little spoiled little bitch you are. And you just decide to put Blaney into the fucking wall and tear up his damn tolling. Like, why? What are we what do we do? And at that point, I don't like Chase Elliott. I'm not a Chase Elliott fan. I'm not a Chase Elliott apologist. I don't give a fuck about Chase. Fuck Dawsonville. Fuck Georgia. I don't give a shit. Fuck Napa Auto Parts. I don't care. Fuck them. Fuck the Alabama Bama Mans 18 beers deep fucking their cousins in the bleachers. I don't give a shit. But at the end of this race, I catch myself cheering for fucking Elliott. I'm hoping he wins the race. Because fuck Hamlin, dude. You think he deserves to win that race? After putting Blaney in the wall? Come on. Come on, man. Just absolute clownery, dude. This is why Denny Hamlin has not and will not ever win a NASCAR championship. He can't race you. He's going to put you in the wall, and then he's going to bitch about how you raced him because he can't take it. He can't take the fucking heat, dude. He can't take the heat. He can't put himself through that shit because he can't fucking handle it. He's like a little prima donna little bitch. He's like NSYNC when their one-hit wonder ran out. That's all he has. He's got nothing. All of his accomplishments are off the backs of everybody else. The garbage race car driver, a waste of fucking time. He's one guy when he retires, I'm not even going to give one thought about for the rest of my life. I will never remember that he was there, and for good fucking reason, dude. It's Wreckfest, bro. Hamlin, probably. Yeah, dude. Fuck Hamlin, dude. Absolutely pissed. I was having a good time. I was kind of enjoying the race because we didn't have any we didn't have a lot of cautions. Yeah, the brake rotor was kind of annoying. Elliott winning the race was kind of annoying, but when I didn't care if Hamlin would won the race until he did that. And then when he did that, I was fucking actively rooting against him because I did not want to see that little fucking goofy ass fucking smile in fucking victory lane. His kid's crying. That just pissed me off. Especially Blaney. Blaney's the cleanest driver in NASCAR. I can't remember a single time in his 10-year career where he ever hit anybody. Ever. And then you're going to do that to him? Come on. SVG had a good day. Cindric also had a good day. I was surprised because Cindric ran 4th to 6th all day long. Great run by Cindric. I know Penske dominates at these type of tracks, but usually it's always Laguna and old Blaney battling up at the front. You don't see Cindric that often up there battling. So great race by him. I thought it was a decent race, guys. I know you're going to see a lot of hate from some people. I think it might have got a little bit better of a good race poll because Chase Elliott won. I think that kind of skewed the poll a little bit. Whatever the hell his name is that does it on the internet. But I thought ultimately take out the winner, take out some of the BS with the strategy there with Elliott with the caution. I thought it was a decent race. I thought the fall off was good. What we were a victim of is we just were a victim of a team and that set it up perfectly. And Denny Hamlin's really good at controlling those races at the front of the field, and they brought a really fast race car, and that was kind of what we were a victim of. We did see a lot of good battles and stuff throughout the field. Did see a lot of different strategies other than the one that Elliott employed to get the track position. I think Chastain pitted really, really late. He was like the opposite of what Elliott did. He pitted like extremely late, caught the caution right, and then he had the track position because he stayed out instead of when everybody else pitted on fairly old used tires or whatever. So I don't know. I thought the race was decent. We'll take a look at the point standings here before we jump into previewing this weekend's races. Reddick still holding the points lead right now, 82 points over Blaney, who moves into second. Hamlin third, Elliott fourth, Byron is fifth, and Gibbs again. Ty Gibbs another good run. I think this is 4 or 5 straight top 6 finishes for Gibbs, looking like what he should be. I mean, with the equipment he has, and that's really where you gotta be. You gotta be in that top 6 in points at the end of the regular season, and that's where he's sitting. Bell is 7th, Keselowski 8th, Larson 9th, Buescher 10th. Bubba does move down to 11th, and standings goes from 3rd to 11th because of one crash out during the race. Not good. Glizzy, he's running 14th. KFB, another bad weekend. He's in 24th. And then Zilich back in 33rd. It's a rough year. He's only accumulated 80 points in 6 races. That's going to be a tough, long season for Zilly. Hopefully they can get that ship righted, and he can figure it out as the season progresses. But those are the standings for NASCAR as we go into an off weekend for Easter this weekend. All right, drivers of the week. Dean Thompson, P7 in the No Apps race. Great run by him. Pierre Gasly, P7 in the F1 race at Japan. Again, Can't speak too many good things about Alpine. I can't speak enough good things about Alpine, I should say. And then Graham Rahal, first podium since 2002, man. What a freaking awesome run by Rahal this weekend. It was good to see Rahal look like prime Rahal again. Looked all giddy like a kid again. It was kind of cool to see that. I was actively rooting for him to get the podium there at the end of that race, as much as I like David Malukas. Bonus of the week, Max Taylor wiping out Alessandro Dutulio in the Indy NXT race. Lee Pulliam, again, I've talked about this in length earlier. Absolute restart choker. He is so bad, man. And then Christian Lundgaard's pit crew is going to get nominated for fucking up that stop and ultimately costing them a chance at Palou for the win. And that leads us into Heartbreak of the Week, and that will go to Christian Lundgaard, who I feel like had a car good enough to win that race, and we'll never know. We'll never know how that would have played out. So I'll have those polls up for you guys at the end of the podcast for you guys to vote. I'm curious to see what you guys think. All right, we do have some racing this weekend, limited schedule since F1's on their break. IndyCar's on a break. NASCAR's on a break this weekend. World Endurance Championship still hasn't kicked off. No IMSA this weekend. So we have trucks and O'Reilly Auto Parts at Rockingham. Friday will be the Truck Series race. Saturday will be the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series race. In the Truck Series, notable entries, Corey Heim with Tricon in the 1 truck. Sammy Smith with Spire in the 7. The LaJoy Dozer, full-time in the 10 for Colleague now. I thought I mentioned that. Ty Dillon with Colleague in the 25 All-Star truck. Landon Lewis with Nice in the 45 truck. And then Hosen Karsavar will be not taking an off weekend. He'll be racing in the Spire truck in the number 77. In the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series, we got JJ Yaley in the number 5 for Hettinger. Cletus McGeetus McFarland making his O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series debut at Rockingham this weekend in the number 33 for RCR. Don't expect much from him. Hopefully he can bring that thing home in one solid piece. And then Rajah Caruth will be back with Junior Motorsports in the number 88 this weekend. All right, for Friday, the Black's Tire 200 Truck Series race. I'm going to go Corey Heim with the win on this one. Again, the Stricon trucks are really good. Last time he was in one, it was at Darlington a couple weeks ago. Ends up snagging the dub. I don't think anybody else is going to have anything for him. The Toyotas have started the season off extremely quick. I see Corey Heim hoisting the trophy on Friday night. And then my dark horse, again, I think he's the best and brightest spot of the entire Colleague Ram truck experience right now. That's Brendan Queen. He just continues to get faster and faster. Those Ram trucks are getting, I think, a little faster as they're learning all the new aero and everything and developing this program from the ground up, essentially. I think Brendan Queen has got a ton of talent. I'm going to take him as my dark horse this weekend. Then when it comes to the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series, the NC Education Lottery 250, I'm going to take Jesse Love. If you guys remember last year, the RCR cars were extremely fast there. Jesse Love was dominant. That was his first win of the season last year before he ultimately went off to win at Phoenix later in the year and win the championship. A lot of similarities between them. He was fast at Phoenix again this year. Phoenix and Rockingham are a lot of similarities between the tracks, in my opinion. Not maybe a little bit with size-wise, maybe not with the banking that we see there at Rockingham. It's a little different. But I don't assume, or I can't assume that they're going to have a fall off in speed compared to what they had last year. And Jesse Love is really good at this type of racing. I think there's going to be a lot of tire management going on with this race. It's a fresh paved track. And I'm going to go off of past experience and past success, I guess, to base my pick here with Jesse Love. And then my dark horse, again, we've talked about this ad nauseum, at length, Parker Retzloff. Me and Tom have been believers in this guy for like 3 years now. And now the public and all these NASCAR talking heads are over here talking about how good Parker Retzloff is. Woo! We're on the Parker Retzloff side. Woo! He's so good. Like, well, fuck, dude. Nobody was talking about him 3 years ago when me and Tom were over here freaking giving him flowers and giving him roses and fucking cheering him on. And last year, qualified on pole at Rockingham, ran top 5 all day, finished P2, great race. And then this year, he's setting the world on fire. I think he's in a position where he might actually make the chase for the O'Reilly Championship this year. I'm a huge fan of Parker Retzloff. I think he needs an opportunity. He was a sim racer. He's paid his dues running for not so good teams. Obviously got released from Chevy, found a new home here at Viking Motorsports, kind of an offshoot startup team. And he's hit the ground running, having a lot of pace, a lot of speed, a good run at Darlington even. I think Parker Retzloff's a great dark horse for the O'Reilly Auto Parts race this weekend. And we got Tom here in the chat, man. Let's see. Right at the end, too. Let me get the cams fixed here. Oh, let's see. grid view. Let's share my screen. Give us 1 second here, boys. Go here and here. I don't know. Once he gets his webcam on, starts talking, we'll hear Tom's opinions. But yes, Parker Retzlaff is my dark horse for the O'Reilly's Auto Parts race this weekend. That's all I have for this podcast. But now that Tom's here, we can have him talk about some of his talking points that he wants to talk about racing wise this weekend. I do not have your audio. Oh, my headset's not on. I put it on, but I never turned it on. Second here. Okay, I can hear you now.
Good.
All right, Tom. I finished the podcast, so what do you want to talk about, man? I'll let you rip through whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. All right. How about Daniel Dye? How about that? And then, you know what? Can we just talk about the potential for Corey LaJoie, and then 5 minutes later confirmed Corey LaJoie? What is Ram doing? What is Colin doing? I mean, they're asking for a disaster. You know what I mean? What is Corey LaJoie going to do in that? I mean, he's probably cheap. He's probably pretty cheap. Probably gets his knee pads from Temu. He probably upgraded that cheap. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. Daniel Dye is a moron anyway, so who cares? Who cares about that guy? I don't give a damn. I think that there's plenty of better opportunity. Jay, I was actually thinking about it. You know who would be a really damn good driver for that seat if you're not going to choose who we've already wanted? Tristan McKee.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Tristan McKee needs to have that seat. But yeah, that's my deal. And then they go Ty Dillon for the 25. What the fuck are we doing?
They call it the All-Star Chuck when they bring in Ty Dillon.
Yeah, All-Star. Yeah. Bring in Ty Dillon. At this point, you'd be better off getting Darrell Waltrip getting that fucking thing and driving it. You know what I mean? Let's see. I really don't have anything to say about the O'Reilly's race except for I don't know what's going on with Allgaier, but I've been choosing him every time I choose him. Yeah, dude. Every time I'm choosing him, he's fucking winning. So great, awesome. The only thing I wanted to bring up with the F1 race was the Behrman Franco thing. And Kimi Antonelli finally doing the Lord's work. Yeah, doing the Lord's work. But that Behrman and Franco thing, how dare people put that on Franco?
I agree. I've said the same thing just like right there, and I was talking about it. It's not Franco's fault that the regulations require you to have to harvest speed, and maybe he misjudged when he wanted to do his harvesting because that was one of the faster parts of the circuit. So maybe I guess you could maybe put like 5% blame on Franco because maybe he mismanaged how he was going to use his energy there, but I don't think it was.
He ran the racing line, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
He ran the racing line. He was in Harvester, which is of nobody's, the person that should be paying attention to the harvesting mode in the car in front of him is the car behind him, right? Like that was Behrman should have had more of a heads up there with, because the lights blink at the rear of the car. So, in any case, Franco was running the racing line, was in Harvester. What else do you want the guy to do?
Yeah.
He didn't make a left-hand turn going through a right-hand corner.
Yeah.
You could easily see he went like this. You know, like nothing was intentional there. So I don't understand that. I don't get the hate. In fact, I kind of do get the hate because of the British bias within that series. I kind of get it. I don't get it. I understand why they do it is because of the bias. Let's talk about IndyCar. What a run by Palou. I did not think Palou was going to have that.
Well, we talked about it last week on the podcast. This one thing I wanted to get your opinion on. We talked about how it was going to be a red race, right? We talked about it for 10 minutes. And right after the race started, man, Palou started on the hard tires. He was going to get those out of the way and then he had those 2 sets of new red stickers in the pits. And that was the strategy they were going to employ for the race. And then it was like 10 laps in the race. And you could tell that those red tires were not very fucking good, Tom.
No,
they weren't
not good.
And Palou's team scrambled. Again, Palou, I went on like a 10-minute rant about this, but Palou is fucking insane, dude. How good he is, not just racecraft, but being able to understand strategy and understand how to maximize his car in certain situations, whether it's in traffic or being able to execute on in and out laps. And he broke that race down in his post-race interview, like pretty much lap for lap, stint for stint. And it was so impressive, like what he's unreal. Like I say, like I made the comparison where I said, Felipe Nasr is the best driver in the world currently at closing out races. I think Alex Palou is the best driver in the world at managing races.
Yeah. If he's not, then he's a close second to Scott Dixon.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, that was pretty awesome. The main thing I wanted to, there's 2 other things I want to talk about. Ray Hall. I said it right at the end of the race preview. You gotta make sure that you keep him on your radar, because if he has any type of speed, he's gonna do some work, and you need to be careful of that because he could steal a win. And look, he did fucking awesome. He podiumed.
First one since 2022. Unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy.
He looked like a kid when he got out of the car, man. He was all energized. Like, it was so cool to see, man.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was, in fact,
the Lundgaard pit stop.
Well, but what I really wanted to talk about was what I put in IndyCar drama about Zach Brown and his X post that he put up there. About it. He was praising Christian Lundgaard and Pato O'Ward, and there is no mention of his third car. I thought that was absolutely fucking hilarious. Why? Because last year he came out and said IndyCar needs to be more of a premier series. The car count needs to go down, without even mentioning his own team. So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was actually hilarious. Even, Zach Brown hates his third car, which is a hell of a way to manage a team, in my opinion. But yeah, the Lundgaard pit stop. Oh my God, what are we doing? Well, if you're gonna go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
If you're gonna fumble a pit stop, against some of the best cars on the grid right now, which is Palou and Kirkwood, when you could have literally won the entire race, you bested Palou, you bested Kirkwood, you would have won that race. And what are we doing? Like, what even happened? Did the socket fail or something?
No, yeah, the rear changer had issues. I don't know exactly what happened. We didn't get a good angle of it, but yeah, he was having issues getting the tire on.
Yeah. That may entirely not be the actual tire changer's fault. It could have been a pit gun malfunction. That's happened to me before, when I was on the circuit. But I don't know, man. Like, it just seems fishy because how bad Zach Brown wants to have that Pato O'Ward car as the first champion for McLaren and IndyCar. And, that they pretty much got that seat reserved for Pato. And it seems like Lundgaard is having a season that is going to potentially be better than Patricia or Pato's.
I agree.
And I think this weekend is the start of the snowball. And just watch. It's going to get a lot worse. It reminds me of the team battles that we had last year at McLaren in F1, and it started snowballing in Hungary. Or not Hungary, sorry.
Miami.
Red Bull Ring. Or Miami. No, it was Miami.
Yeah, Miami's right when it kind of started, and then
Yep, that's right, because of the pit sequences.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're about to watch a big old snowball right here. I think we are.
Well, Well, one more thing I want to add to that. I know we have that George the Traveling Gas Man, and with as many pit failures as we've seen this year, we saw it with Ferrari already. We've seen it with Blaney's pit crew. We've seen it with Andretti at Arlington. Now we see it with Lundgaard. We need to have I don't know, the pit Oompa Loompas or the Oompa Loompas or some shit, and have our own fucking segment every week on that shit, because it's seeming to become an absolute problem in all motorsports around the world right now with these pit stops, man.
Yeah. All right, that's really all about the IndyCar race. I do want to mention one thing. Palou is now only -2 behind first place.
Yeah, that's going to be
and with a DNF already in his finishes versus everybody else who's finished a race. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
especially
with Kirkwood, who's finished what, 4th, 5th, or 4th, 2nd.
Yeah,
win
1st,
5th.
Yeah,
he hasn't finished worse than 5th all year, and he's only 2 points ahead. It's not good.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Again, I mean, we've been saying this for what, 4 years now. You never count Scott Dixon out ever, and you never count Alex Palou out. You just don't. It's just one of the things you never do. And the second you do, you're losing the race because he's gonna fucking win it. So that's all I got to say about that. The Cup race. I'm gonna go on my my favorites rant here. SVG qualified P5, and then ran top 10 all day long. What did he finish?
11th.
11th. That's right. Yeah, which is a fucking incredible at a racetrack like Martinsville, where it's just demo derby the entire time, and it kind of, I mean. There was some wrecks. But he made it all through it. I mean, he kept himself out of the shit and finished the race. I think that the Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar crash, I thought that was hilarious. I mean, Bubba just pile drive that motherfucker through 3 and 4, dude. He didn't even give a damn. He just, I don't know what happened before that either. I don't know if there was ever a replay.
No, nothing.
Yeah, happened. He just fucking pile drived him.
He lost his cool.
I don't know.
Typical Bubba stuff. We see it happen at least once or twice a year where Bubba loses his cool like this, and he can't afford to do that at this point standings. He went from 3rd in the standings to 11th because of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't be doing shit like that with this point standings. Nope. You can't.
Wow.
Gotta manage his emotions.
That's actually crazy. That is actually crazy. Holy shit.
And then also, fuck Hamlin, by the way. Putting fucking Blaney in the wall. I went on a crash out like right before you got here, but that's bullshit, man. Fuck Hamlin. How many times are we gonna watch him put somebody in the wall that races him hard and have to sit here and be okay with it? I fucking can't stand the guy. I don't like Elliott, but I was actively rooting for Elliott to beat him at the end of the race. I can't stand Hamlin. Like, when Hamlin retires, I'm never going to put one more thought to him for the rest of my life, dude. Fuck him, dude.
He's an automatic Hall of Fame next year.
Him,
the year after.
The Hall of I'm an asshole is what he should be in. Fuck, dude.
The Hall of Holocaust.
Yeah.
Hall of Hamlin.
Yeah. God damn it. That's fucking great, dude. Fucking Auschwitz, Asha, watch this.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than that. I only watched the highlights. So, I had a sick household on Saturday. I had 2 kids puking.
Well, at least you expose yourself to it, so you maybe get sick before Dega, dude. Get your immune system back up.
I know. I haven't gotten anything yet, well, and my wife's been sick since like Wednesday of last week. So
it means it's gonna hit you like the day before Talladega now.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
Oh, hopefully tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I hope it's tomorrow. Yeah, I hope that I get sicker than fucking death the next 2 weeks, so then I can go to Talladega just fine.
That's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, it's raining tonight, and I was like, I might not go for a run because I don't like to run in the rain. But I'm like, I might just do it. Just maybe I can get sick and get that out.
Exactly.
Way to get her done today.
Yeah, exactly. That's that ribbed brain thought process right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we
Yes,
got ridges in the brain. That's what we're talking about. No smooth brain operators here, sir. No smooth brain operators. All right. Other than that, I also saw a graphic. I don't know if I posted it or not. I think I should have posted it. Maybe darn, I didn't. Anyways, in top 10 best finishes for Trackhouse this year, SVG takes up like 7 of them.
Yeah, he's having a great year, man.
He really is. He really is. But yeah, that's all I got. Let's see. Yeah, the Christian Lundgaard pit crew and the heartbreak of the week. Christian Lundgaard, yeah. Okay. Trucks. Ooh, I'm taking. I'm gonna go Enfinger Queen. That's what I'm gonna take for trucks. For O'Reilly's, dude, I'm gonna go Allgaier again. This is a type of thing where the experience will come into play. I'm pretty sure Allgaier was around when they were still racing at Rockingham in the Xfinity series or O'Reilly series. So I think he's got some experience there. So I'm gonna go Allgaier again, and then yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think you could really choose anybody else right now other than Ryan Sieg. But Ryan Sieg had a great finish at Martinsville. I think he finished 8th, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Retzlaff this weekend. I don't know what the hell he's doing over there at Viking, but good on him, dude. He's actually like making that team relevant. Mm-hmm. Good on him. Good on him. Oh shit, that's it, huh?
Yeah, that's all we got this weekend. Those 2 races. We'll have a watch party on Saturday for the O'Reilly Auto Parts race, since that's the only race that we'll be able to really do any watch parties for. So Saturday we'll be here for watch party. It should be fun. Hang out, do the Rockingham race. Probably have the March Madness games on at the same time, dude.
Is that the 4th?
How that goes? Yeah.
Is that the 4th?
Yeah, the Final 4. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
So we'll do it. We'll make it mostly racing, but we'll also have the basketball game up as well, because I think at the same time as the Arizona-Michigan game, and me and Tom got a lot of stake in on that game. So it's a do or die situation for me and Tom, so it's gonna be a good game. So we'll probably do a watch party for both the basketball and the O'Reilly's race on Saturday. So it should be fun, even if you guys aren't best basketball guys or whatnot. But we'll be having fun. We'll be having both those games up.
Yes.
Both the race and the game up, and having a good time on Saturday. So should be a good one. We'll have a good time. Maybe we'll drink some beer and hang out, since Sunday is Easter, and fuck it, we'll have a whole day.
Punish the liver, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, fuck it. Alrighty, guys. That's all I got for this Tuesday's podcast. It was a good one. We got a little bit of a break between F1 and IndyCar for about a month on both series. 2 weeks for IndyCar, a month for F1. NASCAR's off for this weekend's Easter weekend, other than the O'Reilly's race. But yeah, it was fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this weekend for the watch parties. I had a good time hanging out with you guys, watching some racing. We saw some good racing this weekend. I enjoyed what we saw on TV this weekend. Also, if you guys want to support the boys, all of our socials are on the bottom of the screen for you guys to go follow. Those polls for Driver and Bonehead of the Week will be out after the podcast. Make sure you guys get your votes in. Curious to see what you guys think. If you guys want to support the boys even more, we have a merch store. Go buy some Big Boy swag. Get all swagged out. The summer's here. Get you a new t-shirt. Get you a new bumper sticker for your car, your skateboard, or your mini bike, your moped, or your dump truck, whatever it is you drive to work every day. Let us know. If you guys want to see new merch in our merch store, we could update that and change that at any time. We'll obviously have some cool stuff. We've floated some cool ideas with George Traveling Gasman merch, all kinds of cool stuff. So we can always change that. But all those proceeds from our merch store help us make this content for you guys every single week on this channel. If you guys want to join the best motorsports community on the internet, not only subscribe, like, and comment, and turn on bell notification for our YouTube channel, but join our Discord. That link is in the description below. All of the motorsports news from around the world, whatever it may be, drama, rumors, news, memes, whatever it is, motorsports related, right here in our Discord. If you guys have stuff you want to post in there, feel free to do it. We love when you guys do that. We interact with you guys in there every single day. Come join the best motorsports community on the internet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, Tom. It's good to see you make it in here and hang out with me for a little bit here at the end of this podcast. Glad you made it. Also, happy birthday to Tom. Gotta mention
Ah,
that.
thanks. Thanks. I'm old now. I actually feel
Hey, you're
old.
catching up to me a little bit, dude. That's how I felt when I turned 29, dude. I was like, I got so drunk on my 29th birthday, dude. So I fucking wasted. And I was sitting in my room at the end of the night, and I was like, before I went to bed, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking old now. It's my last year in my 20s. I got over it pretty quick the next morning, especially with the massive hangover I had, but it was all right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back on Saturday. Should be fun. Turn on your bell notifications. You're not going to want to miss the awesome watch party we're going to have on Saturday. It's going to be a great time. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of the week. Enjoy the race this weekend. And we'll catch y'all on Saturday. All right.